All right, this probably isn't the best way to film it, but let's give it a shot. So I turned mine on. It's plugged in because my battery is pretty low, so I'm gonna leave it plugged in while we do this. First thing should do is I'm gonna go back and back and let me see, stimulus. And let's call the center, let's do this at like 450 megahertz instead. So 450 megahertz. And let's do the span of 25 megahertz. So now I can see down here, my center is 450, and over here my span is 25. So I know that's good. That's fine. Now I need to calibrate. So I'm going to use, one cable on CH0, and I don't have an SMA torque wrench, so we're violating that, but let's pretend that that's okay. And then we're gonna do a coupler. I try not to keep getting my face in the shot. So here's where I'm gonna attach the loads. So I'm going to press the button, go back. I'm gonna go to cal. I'm gonna reset because I wanna start from nothing. So you notice there's no letters over here. And now I'm gonna go to calibrate. Now, you also see that there's nothing highlighted here. So first thing I'm gonna do is the open. So I'm gonna grab the one that has nothing inside, the open. And hook that to my end. And hit open. Now I need to do short because that's the next one that lights up. So sometimes you gotta unscrew there. So put my thing back on. And I want to find the one that's all metal on the inside. So that's our short. So I'm gonna screw that in. And I'm gonna carefully click on short. And now we're gonna do load. The load one is the one that actually has a pin, and you can see that it has like a little bit of coax kind of insulator in there. I'm gonna do the load. Click on load. I'm gonna ignore isolation through. I'm just gonna go done. I'm gonna go save 0. And then you should see CDRS 0 on the side. I still have my span and stuff set up. So now what I'm gonna do is go back. I'm gonna go to display, format, Smith. And so I'm gonna disconnect this. Right now I've got the load hooked up, which is actually good. But let's go to, I'm gonna do the open. All right, open. Now we've got a pretty narrow span, and the thing should be pretty good over that. And you should just see a dot, essentially, at where you expect to see an open. And that's what I see. Now, I'm gonna put load in. So, load. And again, you should just see a dot because we're not spanning over a huge range. The thing should be pretty calibrated. A dot at where 50 ohms should be. And that looks really good. And then I'm going to do the short. So I got my short. And screw that in. And guess what? There's a nice little dot there. So when you were showing me in that PDF where these positions had a lot of smudge kind of out over in those spots on that PDF. I'm like, that doesn't look like a really good calibration to me, or you're really attempting to go over a frequency range where the device is not going to be in calibration the whole way. So I would pick a and on those pictures, it was like 50 kilohertz all the way up to 900 meg. So that's a huge span to kind of expect this thing to be calibrated over. So I would kind of stick to a much narrower band, like 25 megahertz wide, and expect to see just a dot at each point in the Smith chart where things should be. All right, hope that helps.